All right, buckle up for a deep dive.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is, trust me.
I'm ready.
So today we're going deep into a story that's, well, it's stranger than fiction, really.
Lay it on me.
We're talking about Glennon Engleman,
Okay.
a dentist.
All right, I know some dentists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one, he was also, get this, a contract killer.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, seriously.
A dentist and a hitman?
Dentist by day, hitman by night.
That's quite a combo.
You think?
Yeah, no kidding.
And here's the thing, the really wild part is, our main source for all this, it's his Wikipedia page.
No way.
Yeah, it just goes to show you,
What's that?
you never know what crazy stories are hiding right there in plain sight.
True, true.
Like, who would think to look for a contract killer on Wikipedia, right?
Right.
But it's all there.
Huh. Fascinating.
Yeah, right.
It really is.
So what gets me about Engelman's story,
Yeah.
it's this crazy, like, this duality he had.
I can only imagine, living a double life like that.
Yeah.
That's got to do something to a person.
Right.
Yeah.
And on paper, this guy, he had it all.
What do you mean?
Well, respected career,
Okay.
military background, graduate of Washington University School of Dental Medicine.
Wow. Impressive credentials.
Right.
Yeah.
But all the while,
Yeah.
he's leading this totally secret life.
Orchestrating murders.
Yep.
It makes you wonder, what could make someone do that?
Right.
To lead a double life like that?
Exactly. What could push someone to that point?
It's a question for the ages.
And when you dig into his past, it gets even weirder.
How so?
On the surface, it seems normal enough, right?
Okay.
Like middle-class upbringing, good student, served in the military.
Yeah, it sounds pretty standard.
No big red flag screaming future contract killer,
Right. Right.
But then things take a turn in 1958.
What happened in 58?
That's when his ex-wife's new husband, James Stanley Billick, dies.
Oh.
Yeah. And Engelman's ex-wife, Edna Ruth, gets a pretty hefty life insurance payout.
How much are we talking?
$64,000.
$64,000. Back then, that's a fortune.
Well, yeah, maybe not so much today, but back then, huge.
Absolutely.
Like, adjusting for inflation, it would be something like $676,000 today.
Whoa.
So you start to see a motive emerging.
Yeah, that's a pretty big motive right there.
And it's just mind-blowing to me, the power of money,
It corrupts, that's for sure.
It really does.
Yeah.
This guy dedicated his life to healing, right?
He was a dentist, right?
Exactly, taking care of people's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the thought of all that money,
Yeah.
it was enough to make him turn to taking lives instead of saving them.
Wow, the irony is not lost on me.
It's wild,
Absolutely.
This constant back and forth between healer and killer.
It's contradiction, that's for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And this whole thing with money,
Yeah.
this greed, it just keeps popping up throughout his whole criminal career.
Makes you wonder if it was the driving force behind everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, was it all about the money?
Seems like it.
Or was there something else going on, something deeper?
Maybe a little of both.
Possibly.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But what's really chilling is how he got other people to do his dirty work,
Oh, yeah, the manipulation.
Yeah, he was a master at it.
It's like he wasn't just content with pulling the strings.
No.
He had to get others involved, make them complicit.
And often it was women, right?
Yeah, often women he was close to.
Wow, that's cold.
It really is really messed up.
It makes you question everything you think you know about someone.
Right.
Yeah, like who can you really trust?
Exactly.
They
And there's this one case.
Uh-huh.
It really shows just how deep Engelman's manipulation went.
Tell me about it.
Carmen Miranda Halm.
Okay.
Now, she was a former dental assistant trainee,
Hmm.
and she had known Engelman since they were kids.
Oh, wow.
So imagine the level of control he must have had over her.
To convince her to.
To participate in a murder plot.
That's intense.
Yeah. He talked her into having her husband, Peter, killed.
No way.
Yeah, and for what? A life insurance payout? $60,000?
That's a lot of money, but still,
Yeah,
to kill for it.
right.
It's insane.
It's like $321,000 today.
Still a lot of money. But it's a reminder that this can happen to anyone.
Yeah, manipulation. It doesn't discriminate.
Nope. And it can come from people we think we know really well.
Exactly.
Scary stuff.
It is really scary.
And it's not just the manipulation that gets me about this guy.
Yeah.
It's the way the methods he used,
Oh, yeah, like he was some kind of artist.
That's one way to put it, I guess.
Shootings, bludgeonings, even explosives.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, it's almost like he enjoyed trying out different methods.
Like he was experimenting.
Maybe. Who knows?
That's really disturbing.
It is. It's like, it's one thing to plan a murder, right? But to actually enjoy the act itself, that's a whole other level of messed up.
No argument there.
It's like he treated murder as some kind of sick hobby.
It's a chilling thought, that's for sure.
Totally. And speaking of chilling,
Oh, there's more.
there's always more.
All right, hit me with it.
Let's talk about the Guswell family murders.
Guswell family.
Yeah, this case,
Okay.
this is where things get really complicated, like straight out of a true crime novel.
I'm all ears. Yeah, I mean, talk about twists and turns.
Oh, there were plenty.
Engleman really outdid himself with this one.
Yeah, it's almost like he was playing some kind of sick game.
With people's lives.
Exactly, using them as pawns to get what he wanted.
And what was that this time?
Money, of course.
Figures.
But it wasn't just about the money, it was also the control, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, he had to be the one calling the shots, manipulating everyone around him.
That's a power trip, right?
Definitely.
Sick and twisted.
No doubt about it.
So how did it all play out, this Guswell case?
Well, first he takes out Arthur and Vernita Guswell.
The parents.
Yep, back in 76.
And then
Then, a year later, their son, Ronald, meets the same fate.
Okay, so he kills the parents and then the son.
Exactly.
And what? Nobody suspected anything.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Engelman was good, really good at covering his tracks.
So what was the motive behind all this?
It seems like he set this whole thing up so that Ronald's wife, Barbara Guswell Boyle, could inherit millions.
Millions? From what?
The Guswell family oil business.
Wow. Talk about a motive.
Right. 3 lives for millions of dollars.
It's hard to comprehend the level of greed we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's truly mind-boggling.
Right, did she get the money?
Barbara.
Oh, yeah, she inherited a hefty chunk of change.
How much?
$340,000 from her husband's estate.
Wait, so that's like, what, almost $2 million in today's money?
$1,710,000 to be exact.
And she got away with it.
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
She was eventually convicted, but only for Ronald's murder.
So she's in prison? Oh, yeah, but the deaths of Arthur and Vernita, those are officially unsolved.
Wait a second. So she was convicted of killing your husband, but not his parents,
Yeah, correct.
even though Engelman was behind the whole thing.
Yep, it's one of those details that just makes this whole case even more bizarre.
Bizarre and frustrating.
Absolutely. Like, did she know about Engelman's plan all along?
Was she in on it from the beginning?
Or was she just a pawn in his game, completely oblivious to the whole scheme?
We may never know for sure.
Nope, and that's what makes it so unsettling.
Yeah, all those unanswered questions just hanging out there.
It's like, even with all the evidence, all the convictions...
There's still this sense of mystery.
Exactly, like we've only scratched the surface of this whole thing.
And who knows what else might be lurking beneath the surface.
That's the scary part, right?
It is, because for all we know, there could be more victims.
More families destroyed by this guy's actions.
We might never even know about them.
It's a chilling thought, that's for sure.
It really is. Makes you think about all the darkness that's out there, hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. Like, how many other Glennon Englemans are out there?
Living seemingly normal lives.
While orchestrating these horrific crimes.
It's enough to keep you up at night.
It definitely is.
But you know what? Despite all the darkness, all the horror of this case.
There's also a sense of hope, right?
How so?
Well, because justice was eventually served.
True. Engelman did end up behind bars.
Yeah, he couldn't escape the consequences of his actions forever.
Yeah, and it shows that even the most cunning criminals can be brought to justice.
Absolutely. And it gives a voice to the victims, to their families.
It's a reminder that their lives matter.
Exactly. And that their stories deserve to be told.
And that's what we're doing here today.
Sharing those stories, shedding light on the darkness.
And hopefully learning something along the way.
About human nature, about the complexities of good and evil.
And about the importance of staying vigilant, always questioning, always seeking the truth.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So where do we go from here? What's next in our deep dive into the life of Glennon Engleman?
It's a question that stays with you, you know?
It really does.
Makes you wonder, how many others are out there just like him?
Hiding in plain sight, living these double lives.
Yeah, exactly. Makes you question everyone you meet.
And I think that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating.
Definitely.
We started with just a simple Wikipedia page, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look where we ended up, this whole dark, twisted world of Murder and deceit.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and each layer is more disturbing than the last.
And what's crazy is we still have more questions than answers.
Always the way with these things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like no matter how much we learn, there's always more to uncover.
The mystery never really goes away, does it?
Nope. And that's part of what keeps us coming back, I think.
Absolutely. It's that hunger for knowledge, for understanding.
But also that little bit of fear, right? That maybe, just maybe, there's something even darker lurking beneath the surface.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. That's what keeps it all so interesting.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
Dentist turned contract killer, crazy schemes, car bombs, maybe even some unsolved crimes.
Engleman was a busy guy.
He was, that's for sure.
So what's the takeaway for you from all of this?
I think for me, it's a reminder to never take anything for granted.
What do you mean?
Like, we often assume we know people, right?
Yeah.
Especially those in positions of authority.
What a dentist.
Exactly. We trust them to care for us.
Because they're supposed to be healers.
Right. But Engelman's story shows that even the most trusted individuals can have a dark side.
A very dark side.
And it's up to us to be aware of that, to stay vigilant.
To trust our gut instincts.
Absolutely. If something feels off, it probably is.
Never be afraid to question, to dig deeper.
Exactly. And never underestimate the complexity of human nature.
Because sometimes the most charming smile can hide the most sinister intentions.
It's a chilling thought, but an important one. So, for our listener out there, if you're as fascinated by this case as we are,
And how could you not be?
right, there's a whole lot more to explore.
Definitely some further reading you could do.
Oh yeah, Appointment for Murder. That's a great book about this case.
Goes into a lot more detail than we could here.
And if you're in the mood for something a little more visual,
A little more creepy.
check out the movie The Dentist.
That'll give you a whole new perspective on going to the dentist.
I think it's safe to say that after this deep dive, we'll all be looking at our dentists a little differently.
Maybe just a little.
But hey, maybe that's a good thing, right? A little healthy skepticism never hurts.
True enough.
So thanks for joining us on this twisted journey into the mind of a killer dentist.
It's been a wild ride.
It has, but until next time, stay curious
Keep exploring.
and maybe floss a little extra.
Just in case.
You never know who's lurking behind that friendly smile.